how long it's been going on that every time these people do something really extreme to me, that really bad stuff happens around the country. Probably since I was a little kid. And I don't know how they would turn that into something that they could trade with the feds for, like, to get a new identity or to get their records cleaned or something like that, so they could end up in here when they don't, where they don't belong. You know, I don't know how to do that because, like I said, I'm still taking part in tradition. So I can't, the mental pathways just won't form in my mind. And people who don't participate, like Honeybee could talk, could manipulate Jeff Gordon somewhat. He could, he eventually ended up leaving because things started to get kind of weird. He was starting to, Honeybee was starting to manipulate him so that he was becoming dangerous to me. And at one point, and they were interacting to each other as well. And but there's limits to what a former can do, you know, because they're outside of the energies that are granted to the gypsies, to the Roma. And there was a point where person with the same appearance crossed one of Honeybee's barriers and brought me spilled wine in a broken cup. And it had been offered to the laughing goddess. And he explained, I don't know what a goddess is. I only know there's one God. And but if you'll laugh, I'll give this to you. So I believe that was an angel, most likely Azrael. I think there's only two angels that ever talk to human beings, Azrael and Gabriel, and I'm not a prophet. And he can take on different appearances. You know, these are very powerful things. You gotta, like, there's genetic, there's physical genetic things. I've bled out multiple times in my life, just totally bled out. So much blood loss, they couldn't find any blood to do a blood type with. I mean, the sun set 2 hours early the day that Bruce knocked me out. And, you know, it's just one of those things that can't really be explained and can't really be legislated. But people who are not part of any kind of a tradition, but maybe an accumulation of habits, you know, can read the room, know how to tell some of the, you know, spin events into some kind of cohesive narrative that they can use to get things out of programs and systems. And if the system itself is really willing to distort itself in order to do something against a citizen that's not complying with some other group of accumulated habits associated with some other group that doesn't have traditions, then it's a lot easier to do. And if, you know, people are just really, they value party above nation, and I don't mean political party, I mean like partay, then you know, an old resented party pooper would definitely be someone that people would rally to cause harm to. I mean, it's really just some really pretty inane stuff. That's why there's tradition in different groups. That's why there's boundaries. That's why empowerment requires practices. You know, you have to follow practices. If you cease to follow these practices, you cease to have your empowerment. But there are secondary things that you learn in an empowered situation that you can still use afterwards. You just don't get the full package.